you about police reform really quickly again to follow up on some questions you received, Karine? Thanks. Senator Graham is floating a compromise idea that would keep qualified immunity for officers but would get rid of those protections for police departments. Would the president support a compromise of that kind?
Wow.
So I haven't seen that piece of legislation. We certainly would have to go back to our policy team to talk through that legislation from Senator Graham. What I will say, though, is the president wants to see action in a bipartisan way in Congress to deal with an issue that's clearly critical. As we're watching what's happening today, we're watching a family bury a loved one. And he believes the way that we're going to make transformational change on this issue is to have legislation. I don't want to speak to something that I have not spoken to the team yet.
It's possible the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, it doesn't have to come in the version that it pre-existed in, right? You guys are open to some changes. Is that a yes?
I mean, look, if it's in a bipartisan way, if it's Republicans joining Democrats in a real way to bring forth transformational change, we are willing to have that conversation.
Whew. Now I feel better.
Look, tomorrow's caucus is going to be very important as well, and we're going to talk to the CBC members and talk through what their ideas are and what they're thinking. But again, we think that legislation, federal legislation, is the way to move forward.
Separate question. I asked this of Ian Sams outside when he took our questions earlier. I want to ask of you, though, because I think it is for the wider White House, not just the special counsel's office, which is, did anyone at the White House tell the National Archives at any point not to issue a press release about the discovery of classified documents?
I would really refer you to the White House counsel's office, who has been running this process, and refer you to them.
Even if it's something that's not just in their purview, it would be wider with that.
Now, answer.
Because this is, when it relates to the DOJ, when it relates to special counsel, this is something that's been under their purview, so I would refer you to them.
Nice.
Thanks, Karine. On the show up to work telework bill, I wanted to see if you could tell us what the White House's position is on that piece of legislation. It seeks to end telework for federal workers, so they'll go back to work in downtowns, and whether or not President Biden would veto it should it pass.
So a couple of things. I just want to take a little bit of a step back and kind of take us back to when the president first walked into this administration.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And what he had to do and was able to do was really do a whole of government process in dealing with COVID and what we saw at the time. And he put forth a comprehensive way to deal with making sure that people got their shots in arms, right? Making sure that what we saw with schools being closed, small businesses being closed, he was able to move forward with the American Rescue Plan, which was only voted out of Congress by Democrats. And what we were able to do is open the country, reopen the country. Small businesses are booming, as we saw a record number of small business applications, which we announced about 2 weeks ago. And now COVID-19 does not determine how federal agencies work and serve the public because of the work that this president did on day one. And so our view is that the agency decisions should be guided by a focus on delivering results for the American people. That's how they should move forward. Like other major employers and federal agencies are making those decisions based on their performance goals, not only to increase efficiency and effectiveness, but also to remain competitive in the labor market. So we're committed to working with anyone in Congress to continue strengthening federal agencies. We think that's incredibly important, and the federal workforce in order to deliver on their missions and serve the American public. That's what we think the criteria should be. Look, we've explained our thinking, how the president sees this, and don't have anything to share specifically on the Show Up Act. But we believe that there are ways that federal agencies should be able to track their performance and continue to deliver for the American people, and that's how we think this is the most important way to move forward here.
What did he just say?
Particularly given that the administration announced it's going to be ending the state of emergency on COVID. that there would be a desire to get federal workers back in the office.
I just don't have anything specific. It's on that particular questions. We again think it should be, that decision should be guided by agency. That's their decision to make.
Wait, what?
Another topic on Russia. Does the Biden administration believe that Russian and Belarusian athletes should be able to compete in the Olympic Games in Paris in 2024?
Really?
So I haven't talked to my colleagues at NSC. Would like to get a sense of where they are. Have not heard any real reporting or had any incoming. So let me just talk to them and see where we are with that.
You can circle back. Okay, great.
Thanks, Karine. A couple weeks ago when the mayors were in town, the president said he looked forward to an honest debate with Republicans on entitlements. The House Speaker on Sunday on Face the Nation was asked if he was going to propose cuts to Medicare and Social Security, and he said no. He said he would take that off the table. He was asked completely, and he said yeah. So is it your sense, is it the sense here that the House Speaker's not being honest when he says that?
I think it's more of like there are some facts out there, right, that we can easily point to. Like this administration can point to, and I think I did a little bit of that last time. And so if you look at McCarthy's Republican conference, especially the extreme part of that conference, and McCarthy himself voted to raise the retirement age and end Medicare as we know it. That has been historic. Like that, those are the facts. And just last year, the Republican Study Committee, which includes most House Republicans, reiterated those calls to cut Social Security and Medicare. When Republicans call for these cuts, they do so under the guise of strengthening the programs. So, you know, when the Speaker McCarthy says he wants to strengthen Social Security or Medicare, but rules out making the wealthy and the big corporations pay their fair share, so that leaves just to one option, which is cuts. And again, many outlets in here reported what House Republicans were thinking about when it came to this new Congress, the new 118th Congress. Fox News says Republicans eye using debt limit hike to overhaul entitlement programs if entrusted with majority. That's something that was reported on. CBS, Republicans want to push Social Security, Medicare eligibility age to 70, as I just mentioned, voting to increase the age limit. Reuters, GOP House members are threatening to force cuts to Medicare and Social Security spending. I mean, these are the facts. This is from the reporting that we all saw from you, but not you guys got that reporting because of what you saw. The actions were being taken by House Republicans. Washington Post, House GOP eyes Social Security, Medicare amid spending battle. So this is something that they have said over and over again for the past several months. And there's also voting that could be looked at on how they have treated this issue of Medicare and Social Security. So they've been very vocal and they've been very clear. And so what we're going to do is we're going to stand up for the American people, fight for the American people, and protect Medicare and Social Security, which the president has said himself and been very clear about.
Entitlements aside for a moment, one of the other things that Republicans are saying is that there ought to be a reduction in discretionary spending. Is that something the president is in any way open to, or will he put forward a budget on March 9th that increases discretionary
So
spending?
I'm not going to get ahead of the president, right? As you saw from our memo yesterday, the president's going to have his budget on March 9th. He is calling and asking, right, the speaker to put forward his budget as well so the American people can see what it is that they're thinking about, what it is that they're thinking about when it comes to the American people and the budget, right? What are the cuts that they want to make? What is it that they're proposing? So certainly not going to get ahead of what the president's going to put out on March 9th.
Good job.
Yeah.